We finally finished the book. We finally finished the book. The one that I've been reading for about a month and a half now. It is now January. We are in 2026. And I finally finished reading The Good Boy by Stella Hayward. This is a 5-star book for me. I would rate it 5 stars. The little backstory behind why I have this book, why I got this book. I was at the library and I borrowed this book from the library only because I really like. Honestly, I know that people say don't judge a book by its cover, but I judged this book by its cover, but I do not regret it because I really enjoyed the plot. I really enjoyed the story. I really like how the author introduced everything in the beginning. Like, it caught my attention since the beginning because if you haven't read this book, I am going to have some spoilers here. So if you want to read this book, I would just suggest that you wait out until you read the book and come back to this video to hear my thoughts about it. But anyways, I love how the author didn't just beat around the bush and tell you things near the middle of the book. Like, she just told you straight away since like the first, I think the first 10 pages of the book or something like that. So Rory is Jeannie's dog. Jeannie is the main character. Miles is her neighbor who has known Jeannie since college, and they became best friends afterward. Miles has had a slight crush on Jeannie for a while now, but he hasn't been able to tell her. Jeannie is just oblivious. She does not believe in anything. She doesn't want a boyfriend. She doesn't have a boyfriend. She doesn't believe in the magic that her family has had for generations. So she's kind of like floating around, just figuring things out. She said once that she wanted to go to fashion school. She never did. So she's just living her life with her dog, Rory, who all of a sudden becomes a human when she makes a wish one night on her birthday, which her grandma grants. And she tells her very carefully, like, you need to make sure that you are sure of what you're wishing for, because this wish is not reversible. Which is where we start off in the book. We are introduced to her nana, and she tells her, you have to make this wish at this specific time of the night, and it'll come true by morning. And obviously, her being her, she didn't believe that it was true. Like, she doesn't believe in magic. She doesn't believe in like wishes. So she just put an alarm on her watch, and she went about her night celebrating her birthday until she was back home with her dog. And throughout the entire story, we go through the journey she takes to try to reverse the wish with her neighbor, who then becomes the love interest. I've never read a book where friends become emotionally, romantically involved. So this was a first for me. But I was really excited to find out if she did reverse the wish at the end. I don't want to judge the book too. Like, I don't want to assume. This is my personal opinion about the book. I really enjoyed the book. I did read other reviews, and they did say that she was trying too hard, that the author was trying too hard to fill spaces in between just to get to the end of the book. But I honestly enjoyed it. Like, you get everything in this book. You get her trying to get her dog to be a dog again. And then near the second half of the book, you have, well, her neighbor had mentioned someone from his job, and she comes in, and that's when the main character of the book becomes threatened by this person because she is now interested in her neighbor, who has been there for a long time for her. The whole plot of the story is very it's funny. This is such a funny book. I've never read a book that has actually made me giggle out loud like this book has. Like, I really enjoyed giggling and reading the funny lines. Like, I think my type of humor is just deadpan humor. So when I read the little phrases and like the little things that the dog says in the book, throughout the book, it was just so funny to me. We as humans are always trying to look for people to support us and people to encourage us, and her nana just never gave up on her. Since she was younger, she noticed herself change through the book. Like, as you read on, you notice the character changing, doing things they would never do before. Her dog was also kind of there to support her because though he was a dog turned human, he kind of said things that you otherwise wouldn't have heard coming from a dog. In the book, the longer he is a human, the more he forgets that he was a dog. And the less dog he becomes, and the more human he becomes because he starts to lose his very strong sense of smell. And it's kind of like I'm sad that the dog is losing his ability to be a dog, like his dog traits. But I'm also happy that Jeannie is going to have someone who understands her and tells her things she needs to hear. Like he kind of becomes the voice, her voice in real life. Her grandma was there for help and everything, but she was more of the of like the side where you need to believe, you need to understand that this is your reality now. There's not much that I can do to help you, but you need to figure this out on your own. I can try to give you solutions for things, but you're gonna have to try to figure it out. And then her dog was like kind of the comical friend. Like she was in between. She was stuck. She was like, I love that you're a human now, that you can talk to me now, and I'm comfortable with you to a certain extent. But at the same time, I miss you being a dog. I miss being able to cuddle with you. I miss being able to tell you that you're a good boy. I don't mind that the dog reverted back to a dog at the end, but I also feel for Jeannie. Throughout the story, at the end, near the end, she learns that there are things that you have to do in life, whether even if you don't know what the results will be. Like there are things that you need to say to people before it's too late. And that's what happened to her near the end because her neighbor Miles, he works at a museum and he met this girl named Claudia, which Jeannie knows her as Claudia from work. And she kind of is in the background until near the end of the book where she actually meets Claudia from work. And she's a very nice girl and she's very like joyful and very bright. But she kind of becomes a threat to Jeannie because Jeannie realizes that she has feelings for Miles and she's known him for a long time and she has never had the courage to tell him that she likes him. But the part that I kind of had like, I was like, Miles, what do you want? Because he had 3 opportunities to tell Jeannie that he also liked her, but she just either someone interrupted or he just did not tell her. Miles gets a message from his mom, and this makes Miles feel some type of way. So he leaves, and then they're out looking for him, and he has the opportunity to tell Jeannie that he likes her when Jeannie finds him. But the thing that stops him is Rory comes back. But in the end, we see that Jeannie decides to do things that she's never done before. Jeannie decides to take steps to become a brave person and say things and do things that she would have never done. And that's only because Rory kind of takes the first step. Rory has been through tough times before in his past life as a dog. And this guy who used to own Rory, he appears in the book as someone who Rory is very scared of all the time. He starts to panic. He starts to shake. He starts to wonder, what if he takes me back and he treats me like how he used to, where he wouldn't give me food, where he would make me fight other dogs. So Jeannie takes on the role of protecting Rory. So that's what also encourages her to do the things that take courage. And that's what I really like about this book. Like, it really takes the reader into realizing that sometimes there are things that you need to do to change your situation, and nothing's going to change unless you take the initiative. I think that's what I got from this book. So I really recommend it. I went in not knowing what to expect. I really enjoyed getting to know all these characters, getting to know the main character and seeing her kind of become an activist for other people in her life and herself, because she gains things. She confronts her own past. So that was The Good Boy. I highly recommend it. It's such a good book. 308 pages for a book. I did take a long time because I'm trying to read more books. It's a new year. a new reading era for me. I'm gonna return this book to the library, and so my coworkers noticed that I was taking books to work every single day and that I would read during my lunchtime, so they decided to like hop on and start reading with me. So like two other of my coworkers decided that we were gonna read books together, a little work book club. So it's a new year, and I don't know if starting with this book in the new year is a good choice, but I think that I don't know, it's gonna give me strength for some, I don't know. So I have this little book sleeve I got from a small business account, like a small business that I follow on Instagram, and I really like it. The only problem was that I have sharp nails, and I kind of snagged it a little. Like I pulled some threads off, and I feel so bad because it's such a cute little sleeve. It fits really fat books. But so this is the book that I'm currently reading, and it's gonna take me so long. Okay, done. A Little Life. I like how I went from like funny romance to like the saddest book ever, which is, I've heard it's the saddest book. I don't know if it's the saddest book so far. I haven't gotten to any sad parts, thankfully, because it's New Year. I don't know if I want to read sad things in the New Year, but I'm going to attempt to read this. I don't have a lot of time every single day to read. It's the only reason why I haven't read as many books as other people have. And I just started reading again after like, I want to say 2 or 3 years of not reading, because I used to be a reader. Ever since I was in elementary school, my mom would take me to Saturday reading clubs at my elementary school, and I would come out with a book every single Saturday. It was so much fun to me. My teachers would encourage my mom to buy me books, to encourage me to read more complicated words. As a kid, I was very advanced in reading. So I've been a reader my whole life. I just haven't had the time, or I've paused reading. But I think that this book is a really good challenge for me to try to get myself and motivate myself to read longer books, because I've read I used to read like multiple books in one week in school, in high school. Like I remember there were other students in my class that would read one book a day, and I think that was too much for me. I don't want to rush through books. I'm not the type of person to rush through books. I think that for this 2026, my goal is to read, not to read for competition, not to read like, I don't want to say like, oh, I'm going to read 100 books. Like, I don't want to say I'm going to read 100 books, but if I read, I want to be able to say I know what I read. Like, I want to be able to understand. I feel like a lot of people read, but they don't absorb much of the information because they're just rushing through these books. I'm not the type to listen to audiobooks. I don't feel like audiobooks they don't help me understand the book as much as me physically reading and rereading, even annotating if I want to. So I hope that I'm able to read this book. I'm like 2 pages away from page 50, and it's been, I want to say, a week since I started. My coworkers did have a head start because they started reading it 2 weeks before I finished reading Good Boy. So that's the only reason why I'm behind. We did have a goal of finishing the book by January 14th, but I don't think that that's going to be possible for me, especially because I just started it. I'm kind of an average to slow reader. On my little book tracker, on my reading session tracker thingy that I have, I was reading like 25 pages per hour, so it's pretty slow, I think. If I don't finish the book by January 14th, which is kind of impossible because today is January 1, I don't mind. I'm going to continue to read. I'm going to continue to try to finish this book. I'm scared. I'm a little scared to get to the part where it starts to get sad. I watched some videos. I think I shouldn't have, but I kind of wanted to prepare myself for the book. I don't think I should have watched those videos, but I did anyway. I saw these girls, these sisters, they read the book for one entire week, and then like near the end of the book, one just started crying, and the other girl she was kind of It looked like the book did affect her, but it didn't look like it got to a point where she's just started tearing up and crying. So I don't know if that's going to happen to me. I don't know if I'm just going to get through it and I'm just going to be like, okay, that was sad, but I don't think, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if maybe I can try to make reading vlogs reading this book, but it's going to take me some time to finish it. It's an extensive book. But anyways, I'm willing to give it a try. Another goal that I have for 2026 for this year. Another goal that I have for this year is, oh, by the way, so I forgot to mention that my boss actually gave me, because he saw that I was taking books and that I love to read, he gifted me a Barnes & Noble gift card. And I went on the last day where they had the 25% off sale and the hardcover books were 50% off. So I went, and oh my goodness, that Barnes & Noble that I went to the Glendale Galleria, but the other side, like the Americana, the one where that looks like the Grove. I went to that one and it was packed. Like there was a long line of people just waiting to pay. And there were people like going up the escalators, going to the other floors at that Barnes & Noble is like 3 floors, which I loved. I love going to Barnes & Noble to just look around. But I ended up buying some books because I got a gift card for Christmas. And the first one that I got, which the cashier actually told me that she loved the book and she kind of recommended me another book. But I was like, I don't know why you're recommending me another book, because I'm not there yet. I need to find out a little more about a book just to get it. I'm not just going to get a book because you're recommending it to me. So I got Normal People by Sally Rooney. I was looking at some reviews. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's my stage in my life where I feel like finding people you can relate to and having close friends is hard. And I think Connell and Marianne grew up in the same small town, but the similarities end there. At school, Connell is popular and well liked, while Marianne is a loner. See, I think that's the line that got me, because I can totally relate to Marianne. I was such a loner in high school throughout my entire educational years because I was such a reader. I would exclude myself from the groups because I would prefer to be alone to read. And I think now that I'm older, I find myself going down that path again where I kind of make my own bubble and just stay there and read. If I find that having too many people around kind of overwhelms me. So that's the thing that caught my attention about this book. It says, but when the two strike up a conversation, awkward but electrifying, something life-changing begins. So I think I'm at an age as well where I want real, genuine friendships. And I feel like you can only find that with a very, very limited amount of people these days. Like, you're not going to be friends with every single person that you know. You're not going to be very close friends with everybody that you know. And I think that it's important to have like 1 or 2 really close friends that you just get along with. So I think I don't really know what to expect of this book, but I think that this is going to give me kind of insight as to how, like, it might motivate me to like make new friends or meet someone new, or, give somebody a chance, So I'm excited to read Normal People by Sally Rooney. I also got this book called The Correspondent. I was looking at Goodreads and I saw that it was very popular and highly rated. I kind of remember a little bit about this one. It's actually right here. I do remember reading that it was about someone who wrote letters to someone who they actually never meet up with or anything. It's about someone who writes letters to people she knows, but I don't know if she actually meets with them. I think that's the thing that caught my attention about the book. Like, she never actually meets up with them. She just writes letters to them. Her best friend, her brother, to the president of the university who will not allow her to audit a class. So the format of the book is kind of different than a regular traditional book. It's more of letters written to people or emails. I think I'm seeing emails in here. Yeah, I'm seeing emails. So It's not like those dense books where you have like a bunch of stuff. Some of the pages are like half full. So that's this book that I got from Barnes and Noble. I don't know when I'm gonna start reading these. I had checked out some books at the library, but I returned those because I just had them sitting there, and I ended up with just staying with like The Good Boy. And I actually finished that one because I was so interested in that one. I want to give the other books that I had a chance, but maybe in the future. I don't want to get like so many books and never read them. So I don't think that I'm going to be getting any more books than the ones that I just bought at Barnes and Noble. Oh my gosh. Okay. I know that I said that I'm a slow reader, that I feel a little intimidated by this book because it's 800 pages, but I got a little, it was like a, I think it was the pressure of the discount, but I think I'm also curious to find out what happens. And I was doing a little bit of research of the author of this next book that I'm going to show you guys. And I saw that they had written a previous book that was also very quite popular. But I don't know if I want to touch that book because it looks just confusing. So I decided to pick up, it's a heavy book. My phone fell. That's how heavy it is. Okay. So I decided to pick up Tom's Crossing by, I forgot the author, Mark Z. Danielowski. Danielski. Can't read this last name. I read really good reviews about this book, and I had to get my hands on this one, even though this book is more than 1,000 pages long. It's longer than A Little Life. And I don't know when I'm going to start reading this book. I don't want to make plans and say that I'm going to start to read this book anytime soon because it's such a fat book. So I was reading the summary of this book and I was reading some of the reviews. It's about a teenager or two that they steal some horses that are going to be sent to, like, they're going to be put down. And I think that it's the story of how that develops. But I did also read that that's not the main plot. Like, that's the whole point of the story is not they stole horses that we're going to go get, chopped. I did read that it was a Western. So it has like a lot of like, I want to say Western accent, Wild West kind of vibes. And I've never gotten a book like that before. So I can't wait to read this book. I don't think that I'm going to read it this month of January. I think I'm going to wait a little while because I don't want to be drained from reading A Little Life. Like, I don't want to just pick it up right after reading A Little Life. It's going to be too much. Like, I don't want to put myself through all of that. But yes, Tom's Crossing is the second book from this author. The first book is called House of Leaves, which was more of a, I think I did some research. It was more of a piece of art than an actual book. And I read that a lot of people who read it didn't really understand it until they got deeper into the book. And I didn't want to go through all of that. I didn't want to just do that. So I hope that I'm able to get to it sometime this year because I do have other books. I want to go on a no buy. It's the reason why I started reading A Good Boy. But I just don't want to be borrowing books from the library knowing that I can't annotate them. I have annotated my books before and I feel like I wanted to annotate A Good Boy, but I couldn't because it's not mine, it's borrowed. So that's the only reason why I prefer to buy books anyway and not borrow them. But I also don't want to get a bunch of books and just have them sitting there for a long time just because I want them. But I only got those 3 books at Barnes & Noble, and I ended up buying one more other book that is not related to like romance or anything like that, because a goal for me for this year is to read my entire Bible in a year. But I always hesitated to read my Bible because I was intimidated by it as well, especially because it's known to be a little confusing. It's known to like have different interpretations and definitions of words. So I kind of bought a book that could help me understand it more, and that's called The Bible Recap. The Bible Recap is a very good book. It kind of gives you, it's kind of like a guide that you read day by day. It's kind of like a devotional that you do like daily, to read from the beginning of the Bible, from Genesis to the end, Revelations. I was about to say it in Spanish. Revelation. And I kind of want to take that first step into reading my Bible, because I know the Bible stories. I know the life of Jesus. And so I feel like I've read Christian books before, but I want to read the Bible. Like, that is my desire. And I want to be able to understand it. So I think that this will be very helpful for me to understand it. If I don't have my Bible with me, I can just pick this up and read like the first, like the pages. Yeah. And then the book kind of also gives you more like insight. It kind of helps explain why some things are said in the Bible this way, what they mean. And I'm excited to start that journey. So yeah, that was it. I hope that my book review was not too long. Like, I'm yapping at this point. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching my video. Not only this one, but my previous videos. If you haven't checked those out, please go check those out. I would appreciate you guys leaving a comment, even just leaving a like. I saw one comment one day there, and I was like, that made my day, because they just left the kindest comment ever. And I want to make more of these videos, and this is something that I want to start being more consistent with this year. And I want to lean more into doing book stuff, talking about books. I know that I've seen a lot of creators on here that they talk about books and everything. I kind of want to be the one that's a little different. I'm not the type to make book videos where I sit and read for hours, because that's physically impossible for me. But if I do finish reading a book, I will try to make reviews about it. I've read books in the past, but I haven't been able to make reviews. But this year, I think I have a lot of goals this year. I have a lot of ideas for this year. So I think I want to be able to create more things, use my time to create more. My biggest fear is not being able to do that, but I'm going to try my best. And I hope that you guys enjoy watching. I hope that this becomes a place where you guys can just leave recommendations. I obviously would want to know what other books are out there that I should read. Not just like fiction or anything, just like honestly anything. I think the only genre that I don't really like is kind of like the I'm gonna like maybe make people angry here, but I don't like the fantasy ones. I feel like they're too fantasy, like they're too fake for me to understand. Not even understand. They're too fantasy-ish, fantasy-y to me, to be able to really dive deep. I guess I'd have to find a good book, a good fantasy book that really captivates my because I haven't been able to find one. I've also never been like the type to watch movies that are too fantasy oriented, so I'm open to give it a try, but I would need a recommendation. Like, I don't know if I want to read a whole series. I wouldn't mind a standalone, because I don't know if I can read a whole series, but I'll give it a shot. But that was it for this video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please give it a like, leave a comment down below. Leave a comment down below and tell me what you guys are reading. I'd love to know what you guys are reading, and I'll see you guys next time, hopefully in another book review video. But yeah, okay, bye. What the heck? Okay, bye.